I moved to London as a music manager, thinking like, oh, one day I'm gonna manage something to number one. Everyone was like, yeah, sure you are. But I was just like, why not? I thought the world was gonna change and it didn't. And then at Manumission, there was a guy who was dancing called Fernando. And this guy was pulling out like a melon with his willy. Loads of people just call HE.SHE.THEY queer night and it pisses me off. Because it's not, it's an inclusive night. It's just as much for open-minded, working class, straight white guys as it is black trans women. Because to me, there's no reason they can't be friends. It's weird because I had crises of confidence, but I'm also like, maybe I'm a genius.
Hello and welcome to the Beat Podcast, where we go beyond the music to uncover the stories behind the artists, records, and industry professionals shaping today's dance music scene. Very quickly, before we get started, a big thank you for listening and supporting the podcast. If you haven't already, please do go like, share, and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. That would be amazing. Right, on this episode, I'm joined by Stephen Brains. Stephen's had a unique career spanning artist management, events, label operations, community building, and advocacy around diversity and inclusion through his community and brand HE.SHE.THEY, amongst many other projects that we spoke about in the podcast. So let's get into it. Stephen Brains, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm documenting my absolute like lowest point in life, just being so warm, pissing with sweat.
I know. Listen, everyone I've spoken to over the last few days, I'm saying I shouldn't complain. So we're recording this towards the end of June. I shouldn't complain because here in Belfast, it has been pissing rain for the last 3 weeks.
That's my dream right now.
And the weather has just kind of like taken a drastic turn and it's fucking roasting at the minute. I'm not built for this weather.
God, not at all. I'm a kid from Sunderland. This is horrible. Like,
So I want to talk about your journey through the music industry, getting into dance music and everything, and HE.SHE.THEY, because everyone has their own journey and their own route into the music industry, and there's no one pathway into it. Yours, I feel as though, is quite unique.
it's just weird.
So let's start at the beginning. Like how did you like get involved in music? Was there music in your
Well,
household growing up, or?
yeah. So the thing that like really like, or at least my first memory of music that really is like powerful was hearing Babushka by Kate Bush. And the album is from an album called Never Forever. And the album sleeve is amazing. It's all got these like pixies and banshees and like honestly, anyone should check it out online. And it was just like seeing this album sleeve. My mum had like Kate Bush hair and all this stuff, and it was just like it's such a like, mad experience of it. And it was on vinyl, and it was just it really sticks in my mind. I mean, actually, years later, I took my mum to see Kate Bush, and we sat next to Bjorg and like Chrissy Hine because it's the most I've ever spent on a ticket for anything, but it was worth it. But that just really gave me the bug. That and then like I liked all these like big characters like Gary Newman or Grace Jones, or I always liked someone who just looked so different. And my mum had like days where she'd be like super punk, where she went out and stuff. So I just loved that kind of characterness. And I guess it's who I've ended up managing is full of characters too. But there was definitely that. And then when my dad used to get me on a Saturday, he used to play like M People and stuff,
Yeah.
like moving on up and all this stuff, and the Eurythmics a lot. So I did definitely have music around the house. And actually, give my mum my full props. My mum was a bit agoraphobic when we were growing up, but she had at one point she had like a keyboard and stuff in the house, and she could this little 5'3" woman could play like Military Polonaise by Chopin,
Yeah.
and she have to like it's mad. It's like I'm dyslexic, so I can't read music. But she almost like disconnect, like what you call it, dislocate her like shoulders to play this thing. So I was just around, yeah, it's around like music a lot. And then randomly, so my entry into the music industry itself was I was like more of a goth, and then I liked Nirvana. So I'd gone from having jet black hair to trying to dye it blonde, but I wasn't gay then, so I didn't know how to dye hair properly. Or I wasn't out. I was definitely gay, but Yeah, like so, but it went this like iron blue color, and the lads we were going on this Ibiza holiday, and I like dance music, but not like as much as I do now. It was
Yeah.
like 16, it's a bit just a bit just going out with the lads somewhere. They were like, "There's no way that you can come with us looking like fucking estate," and I did look estate,
Yeah.
and I looked like where someone just puts a Sainsbury's bag just over their head. Not that everyone does that, but visually that. Anyway, long story short, shaved the hair off, and then I was a rugby boy at the time, so I looked like a bit more tongue than I am now. And then went to all these clubs, and then at Manumission there was a guy who was dancing called Fernando, and Manumission was this like amazing club, club night at Privilege,
Mhm.
or what's Universe now. And this guy was pulling out like a melon with his fucking willy, and me and my best mate were like, what? And just kind of giggling. And then Claire from Manumission, but we didn't realize it was Claire from Manumission, who was one of the promoters, was like, you know, laugh with, not at, you
Yeah,
being
yeah.
dicks. And she's like, you know, you kind of like, you guys wouldn't just get up and be on a podium with no clothes on. I was like, yeah, we would.
I bet, yeah.
So me and like my friend got up there, and not that I could like hollow out a melon. I'd like, I'd struggle with a cherry tomato, but like, it's just like, fuck it. That's like, I don't think we always fully nude, in fairness, but I was like definitely down to undies, and then ended up staying out longer because of that, and like being part of like some of the Manumission like parades and different things. And it was mad because they had this place called the Manumission Motel back then in Jesus, and like we met like Kate Moss and Elle Macpherson and all these people. Bear in mind, like I'd only been out of Sunderland like a couple of times, because once my mum was seeing someone briefly in London, so I was like in London for 6 weeks, being called Geordie boy before. And my mum was like, "No, this guy's not right." And then like I went to Paris for 2 days. That
Uh-huh.
was it. That's the only kind of time I've left the Northeast. And I'm like meeting all these like crazy superstar people. And I was just like, Ibiza's like amazing. And we were so green to like the industry and just life, because we were like literally like 16, 17. We bought them, they all thought we were older, but we bought them like a big bottle of like Smirnoff vodka.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you for like looking after us for weeks. And like, not like the fact that it was really fucking cheap in retrospect, but we like, kids from Sunderland, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, this is fucking, I just thought we bought them like Moe Chandon or something. And also the fact that they had their own bar.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
what are you doing? But they were really sweet, and they were like the thought counts, So we were very lucky and to be just kind of befriended in this way. I remember as well, Manny Mishimoto, they used to have like these like erotic shows and stuff on. So there's one time we were watching it as well. And again, like, it's just like, wow, what is happening? And there were these two, this really beautiful man and this really beautiful woman, and it was really hot. Da, da, da. And then I said to them, oh my God, that was like crazy. I don't know how you can like do that in front of everyone. And they're like, are you from the fucking Northeast too? And it was just this brilliant moment, that this illusion of like these two like almost heavenly celestial bodies. And then you just heard the like fucking, I'm from Hetton, like I'm from like
On the road.
local Northeast. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So but yeah, between those things, that's kind of how I started. And when I was out in Ibiza, there was there's a local station called Metro FM, but there was this time where it was a company called EMAP, owned like Metro FM and Kiss and all these things, and also some club nights. So they owned a club night called Peach that had been in Camden Palace, and they wanted to run that regionally. And they were like, "Oh, do you know anyone who you could like recommend for the Northeast?" And I was like, "I can do it."
Yeah.
Like at the time, not legally allowed to be in a club, but back then they didn't really like. I just think people didn't really check documents or didn't have like legal requirements.
Yeah.
So I ran a club night for Kiss up in Newcastle when I was at college, and had like Fergie from Ireland played, like Ferry Corsten, like Lisa Lashes, like some quite like
Yeah. Yeah.
big names. Um, and then it was so funny. I used to have to put all this branding stuff up, and my mum used to be like, "Oh, are you gonna go put up the curtains in the club?" It's so It was so funny. It was so random, like, but it was in this amazing kind of time. I was very lucky to get a club night of that stature so early, and because of that, ministry headhunted me to do stuff.
Yeah.
So when I was 18, going to Northumbria for the first time, like Northumbria Uni to do psychology, I wanted to. Well, I got into Durham, but then ministry were like, "Oh, we can only give you a job if you go to Newcastle the uni, because like and one of the Newcastle universities, because that's where they were going to do events and activations and stuff." So yeah, I just didn't go to Durham. I was like, and I remember ringing the admissions woman, and she went, "Are you being serious? Like you're going to Northumbria over Durham?" And I was like, "Yeah," because that was way more where my heart was.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I just like doing a degree was more of an insurance to like,
A backup plan.
yeah. And I did my masters as well, just because at the time my ex-girlfriend was like doing her fourth year of the speech and language therapy course. So I've got like a masters and all that. It's just as a fallback. But yeah, sorry, I went off in a little tangent. But when I first started in Northumbria, I actually did the freshers party for Ministry of Sound at Newcastle Uni. So it was really odd. So like for an 18-year-old, I'd really banked quite a lot of experience, but I was also very go-getty. I knew what I wanted to do. Also at this time I'd started writing for magazines, because I'd gone to Glastonbury. There were people handed out this like select magazine it was at the time. And I was like, "Oh, is your editor here?" Like the chances of someone's editor being there are so thin. And they're like, "Yeah, actually, like we don't write for we're just here to get in the glass of me for free. But I think that guy over there is the editor." And it was so oddly serendipitous. Yeah, just said to him, like, "Can I write some reviews and stuff for things for free?" Because then I was like, "All right, cool," because then I'm a music journalist.
Yeah.
And then someone at the BBC later on, a few years later, like ran over my tent, and she was like really apologetic, because the person who's still a friend called Ruth Liptrot now, who presents on Channel 5 News, but at the time she was at Liquid News, and she was like, "Oh, is there anything I can do?" I was like, "Can you give me work experience at the Beeb?" And she was like, "Yeah," wasn't really expecting that. It's like, but then bless her, she let me stay in her house. So there's just a lot of just like, can I just do this?
Yeah. And
Can I?
I think,
I mean, you met me like so many times now. It's just that's still my attitude now. Like,
but I
can I just fucking do this, please? And then everyone's just like, yeah, and I'm always just like, no one's found out that I'm shit yet.
we're mate, we're all just blagging it. The whole That's what I was going to say.
Mm,
I think a lot of the music industry is built, like it's built on connections. It's
mm,
built on being a nice person and being like fun to be around and everything, which you
mm,
of course are, but also just shooting your shot, just asking the question, because
yeah,
what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to get a no, right? Okay, that's fine. I've asked the question, rather than debating whether or not to ask the question, not asking it, and then thinking, oh, well, what if I driving yourself crazy? What if I could have done that? Just
yeah.
ask it and you'll never know what's going to happen.
But this is it. Like that whole they're like, oh, people need to manifest. It's what I say to like I like doing talks to people that are like from backgrounds that aren't like traditionally going to get into music or whatever. And it's just that thing that I instill in them is like, right now, it's already a no. Like, you're
Mhm.
not a music journalist or you're not an A&R or whatever. So it can only be better than the current situation that you're in to ask. And if it's a no, it's a no. But it will never be a yes if you don't just ask. And like a lot of people are actually just kind of like up for giving people a go on things.
Yeah.
Like so I've been really lucky with that. But also, like you said, the being fun and being nice. I think that's really important for me. And I think probably when I first came to London, because you kind of realize that I did this stuff regionally, and it was good to prepare and learn. But people in London don't necessarily care what you did regionally.
Yeah.
Like they do when it's like Trick by Patrick Topman, or you can if you really grow something. But at the time, I'd had like a night that was like student night of the year, and like for the North in like the NME. But that was like kind of the most I'd done from my own thing. And I was just like, okay, my currency is like my word. So if I say something, I'm gonna do it. even if when I realize when I'm doing it that it's like at my own peril, I'll just keep doing it and
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll deliver it. Sometimes I've worked for free just to like get my
Your
foot in the
foot in the
door and
door.
said to
Yeah.
them, yeah, do you know what? I'm happy to work for free for this to show you, but then you pay me.
Mhm.
And as long as like people understand, like at some point, because at first I slept on sofas and stuff for like 2 years when I first moved to London because I was like, I'm so just glad to be here.
Yeah.
And like I definitely there was a point where I should have just asked for more money or whatever. But I do believe still, I know everyone's like you should never work for free. I do believe that on occasion, if you know why you're doing it, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Like I just worked on something for free for a massive, massive, massive international A-lister because I just know it's good for the CV
Yeah.
and like and it has got us like other work and like and also just because I really wanted to work on the project and there wasn't a budget for me. So I was like, okay. And I am lucky enough now to earn income from other things that
Yeah.
like that's not a worry. But yeah, that and like making people laugh was a big thing for me. Of like, it's why I think like when we were in Sunderland and like for Radio One weekend, I like holding court,
Mhm.
and that's how I know how to like. Okay, I'll win a room by saying something that's almost insanely
It's not
outlandish,
getting
but
into the conversations that we
just
were having.
yeah, just to the right point of like, oh, but it's like just fine. But like or how I do stand up now in drag and
Yeah.
stuff of like, but you learn that even if you haven't got this nepotistic route to something, yeah, like or you're not born into it. Which is the same as nepotism actually. I just doubled down.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone didn't think that I understood what nepotism was. But yeah, like that being nice thing and just being nice to everyone, not
Yeah.
just being nice to people who can do stuff for you, I think is really important. And it's really helped me because in the industry as well, I think like everyone's careers go up and down just naturally, like anything. And if you're nice, you always get a second chance. You always get voted in again. And I think like artists, and I shouldn't always use Eats as an example, but just do more because he's friendly.
Yeah.
But like he's had like a career of like what 20 odd years. Like with everybody, you'll have moments you go down or whatever, but he always gets booked. He'll always like scream as well. He's crazy but lovely, and they're really talented. But you'll keep they'll keep getting booked because people want them around. Whereas like there are some people who are arseholes whose flames burn really brightly, and then on the when they have as I say for all artists, they'll have their natural slope down. Everyone's like, oh well,
Yeah.
glad we don't have to book that prick anymore. So like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm the same as you. I feel as though like whenever you come from a certain background, you obviously need to work a little bit harder in rooms and work a little
yeah,
bit
you
harder
do.
to even get into those types of rooms. But
Because I think regionally is a big thing as well as like, because definitely if you're black and brown, 100%,
Mhm.
it's difficult. And they will try and put you in a weird box of what you should listen to, like based on like those are kind of obvious demographics, ethical things. But I do think even I was saying this in another interview, for me, because I'm not like super effeminate, I don't think the being queer thing has locked me out of as many rooms as the Newcastle thing,
Yeah,
or they're just being like people underestimating you because they're like, "Oh, you're from you, or you're not like from London, so you're like dismissed." Or, "Oh, very good.
yeah,
Did you do that thing recently?" Like it's the same when they hear your accent. It's like, "Oh,
yeah,
you're
like
from
yeah,
Belfast. Great."
yeah. Like whenever I started DJing and was in radio and stuff, but I never even thought that it was an option for me to get into the music industry because
That
here in Northern Ireland, there's no I guess there's no culture. There's no like labels really. There's no major labels. There's the major label offices in Dublin, down south in Ireland. But
yeah.
apart from that, there isn't anything. So I never even thought that like it would have been an option for me. But
Mhm.
like London, and I've come to learn that London in itself is like its own little bubble in a way. It's its own little world. And they kind of, unless it's happening in
100%.
London, they don't really kind of care what's going on. What I wanted to ask you was, it seems as though the first like couple of years of you in the industry was a bit of a baptism of fire, going from the Northeast to Ibiza, seeing people chop melons with willies on your first trip, and
Definitely was.
making those connections and everything, and then getting into promoting and stuff. What would you say were the biggest lessons that you learned at that early stage in your career?
Do you know what? I think I did learn that being nice and funny keeps you around people because we were kind of kept almost like pets and like, oh, look at those the two Geordies that are like nice to be around. And like, yeah, just we always used to say like really like well trained, like, oh, please and thank you for everything. Like just daft stuff that like I do still think as an adult, it's really important. Like those things, like if someone helps you, always say thank you. Like, and you, I mean, you wouldn't be amazed by it, but I think most people would be amazed by how many people don't say
Oh,
things like
yeah,
thank you.
yeah,
And or just I found as well, like culturally, like when I manage teams, I'm very much like, all right, good job, da da da. And there's a lot of people who are like, no, no, I paid you. Like that's I think it's really important to just be kind
yeah.
and like happy and make these nice environments that people wanna be in. So kind of that. And then the other thing, so I used to scout for free for a guy called Michael Morley, who's amazing, like one of the best musical ears like ever in the industry, genuinely. Like he signed like MIA, Daft Punk, Vampire Weekend and Sony, like a whole bunch of things. And then he also like he was really early on Adele and White Stripes and Scissor Sisters, and he didn't get supported by his boss on those, but he was like, do you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
was just brilliant. But his thing was, you don't need to, and yeah, I guess for people from outside this, in when it was more people signing bands, it used to be like all the A&Rs would go to the gig
Hmm.
and then kind of look around to see who was at the gig, and then they'd sign something half based on like if Warner's and Universal and Sony was there
Yeah.
to like win it from the other one. And he was like, you don't need a room full of people to tell you what you think. Like if you like something, you like something. If you would buy a ticket for something, and if you would go buy the album, that's all you need to know if something's good or not. And something that's good might take time, but it will curve up and it will eventually find its own space. If the artist is ready to work really hard and the team is ready to work really hard.
Hmm.
And it's like, okay, cool. Like, so that is why managing like people like my Jane Coles or Taylor Bush, who's now obviously Disflub and Anima is doing his thing, or Emily Nash and Cyrida, and Bradley Skeng, who I manage now. Like all of those artists, like Emily, when I met her, she was like, what, 18, 19, and is now grown to be like, when she wrote MK's
Dior.
Dior and co-produced it, and she was the second youngest woman ever in Britain to co-produce a number one record, and she was the youngest woman ever, like producer, female producer, ever signed to Sony Music for the World. And it's just like she's just really good.
Yeah.
She's just undeniably good, even at that age. And it's just like the certain people where you're like, yeah, I'll take a punt on it. I know it's good. Like same with Maya at the time, because when I started managing Maya and we worked together for like 15 years, she's still like assisted to me. But like nobody was in dance music. There hadn't been like a woman come through for a long time. It was super, super male dominated. Like you'd had like Ellen Allien and Heidi and Miss Kitten and a whole bunch of really talented women, Mistress Barbara, etc. But then no one had really been like come through on like a really significant level. It wasn't saying that there wasn't talented people there. They just hadn't busted through. And like Hard House was a bit better with like Lisa Lashes and Lisa Pinup and like Rachel Oberyn and things like that, and Savage. But anyway, especially there wasn't really Asian DJs that were big. I'm going to take you to also get my Amazon package. It's a side quest. Come in. But yeah, so like at the time, no one was like Satoshi Tomi was a big um, DJ and the DJ from the light was big in Asia. Hi, yeah, cheers. Thank you.
There we go, Stephen.
Yeah,
Manners. Cheers. Thank you. Polite.
there you go. Exactly. See, I'm living look, the weird shit that's like surrounds my house and the miserable funeral like clothing that I have everywhere. Jeez. So yeah, and also I don't live like that. We just had our fan replaced,
Yeah.
so everything came out of a cupboard. It's just a real like look through the keyhole thing. So anyway, my Jane calls.
Stephen Brains.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck me. So yeah, so at the time, in particular, there wasn't really queer DJs that were doing well, like internationally either. So Maya was this cocktail of being queer, Asian, and a woman, and having like fucking blue hair or whatever at the time. I just thought she was the best thing ever. And everyone was telling me, oh, there's no money in it or whatever. I was like, man, have you heard of productions? They're insane. The talent level is up there. So like she'd been making music since she was 14. So even by the age of when I met her, which was about 19, 20, she'd been doing it for like 6 years.
Mhm.
And she plays every instrument, does their own artwork. It's like she's the most insane fucking like polymath of a human ever. So I started managing her, and then she wrote What They Say.
Yeah. Big moment.
Yeah, and she was also in a dubstep duo called She Is Danger that was really good as well. So she'd ended up as well. We were like, "Oh, how do you break in?" And she was up for doing some remixes for free. So I got to do an Ellie Goulding remix for free that Annie Mac played and was big on Hype Machine because that was the thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Um, and then because of that, I was like, "Oh, she just remixed Ellie Goulding," and that's it was. I think it was Starry Eyes and like Starry Eyed, and it was like that was a big song, and it had got much bigger than like we thought it was going to be. Like as the actual like the main song. So I then use that to go to I think Gorillas and be like, oh, got this artist who just remixed Ellie. Can she have a go at remixing Melancholy Hill? It was so good that Damon gave our money, like even though it was supposed to be for free.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, we've remixed Gorillaz and Ellie Goulding. And then went to Massive Attack because that was like a big thing for her and a big thing for me. Can Maya remix that? And she did. She remixed it and it went on the deluxe album. And she got paid for that as well in the end. And that had been for free. So like after that, when she remixed Ellie Goulding, Gorillaz and Massive Attack, then the next thing I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
she's getting
You're in.
paid.
Yeah.
And then she went from that to like from memory about 40 things, like from Dua Lipa and Sam Smith and Florence and the Machine to like the XX, Bonobo, Little Dragon, like a whole like there's so many things that I'm missing there, but like that's again there's that intentionality of like we're doing this, we're gonna do something for free, we're gonna do something that matters,
Yeah.
and then I know that wasn't what the original question was, and I've just answered it in a big
No,
way, but
I love it, man. And I think that's like very important. And I completely agree with you. People need to know their own worth, and I'm all for doing work for free to then kind of get your foot in the door and get an opportunity. And like you'd said, that remix for Ellie Goulding then wouldn't have got you the next remix to then it's kind of
Mhm.
it's building blocks. It's right, okay, we're
Yeah,
A, how do we get to where we kind of want to be? And it's navigating that. And I want to go back a little bit to what you were saying about
of course.
the A and R.
You have to control me in an
Oh no, you're
interview
fine.
because I will give you like a 6 minute, just like,
This is what these chats are all for, like long form conversations, and I
do
love
you want to see? Do you want to see what I got from Amazon?
go. This is a real behind the scenes look now. Is that a World
Thanks.
Cup?
It is pretty much it. So it is in my wrestling thing that I'm doing now.
I wanted to talk about this. Yes.
But this is the Sandra Cup. So when I do drag race it, I've got a tag team championship thing tonight. No, tomorrow. Sorry, that I'm like. to win the Sandra Cup because Sandra loves being tag teamed. So that is why she has a tag team title trophy.
Right. Let's pause there
It's
because
so stupid.
I want to come back to Sandra in a second. But
Okay.
you'd mentioned about like doing some scouting work and everything, and then that led into management. And I think a big part of that is from what the A&R who you were working with basically said, trust your gut.
Michael Morley.
Yeah, trust your gut. Don't listen to outside noise. If you believe in something, then kind of run with it and go with it. And I think that's super important. Do you feel as though a lot of people's judgment is clouded now and maybe they aren't going after their gut because there's so much noise?
I think it's always been that has always been true because like there was always metrics on stuff, like maybe in slightly different ways because we didn't have as keen tools to like measure what the skip rate is or something or whatever. But like yeah, and like ultimately you can go and throw all the money you want on a release, but if it's shit, people don't like it.
It's not
Like
gonna move the needle, yeah.
that yeah, like that Dean Turney song worked so well that Acton took because it's a great tune ultimately.
Yeah.
And like people are always like, oh, what's the winning formula? And it's like you go to any management company and they'll be like, even say TAC, where at the time when I was working there, they had Lana Del Rey and Dua Lipa. They also had 20 girls that weren't that. Like it's not like I've managed artists to number one. It's not like every release I do gets to number one.
Can't
So
replicate
it's
it.
like,
Yeah.
nah, it needs to have that little, just like every track can't be a What They Say or a house classic or whatever. And it's like, because if you actually let artists make art, then sometimes it is about an emotion or a mood, and it's for different things and it's for different times and places. And you need to be able to evolve and just make art. Like with all the artists that I manage, to be honest, I never go to them like, oh, tech house is big, make tech house track.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in that, like, oh, this is current really. Like I'll be maybe if it's more like for selecting who to remix or something like that. Or like I try to pay attention to, or like I know, okay, the perception of this club night is this, or the perception of that is whatever. And I'm aware of those things. And sometimes when I'm putting an artist in, it's like, okay, maybe play this party, but not that party, depending on where they want to see themselves as.
Mhm.
But in general, with an artist, I'd always just say, just let whatever is supposed to be on that page just pour out of you, and we'll just figure it out. But I hate that. I think it's really hard. It goes from writing number one record.
Yeah.
Like, what does
What does
that
it mean?
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no meaning behind it. It's just kind of I feel as though that's just saying stuff just for the sake of saying it, and you don't really have any kind of ideas or anything to kind of
Hmm.
point you in that direction. On artist management, what initially attracted you to it, and how did you get into it? Because going from what you've already said and knowing you, I feel as though you were out somewhere and someone was like, "I'm looking for a manager," and you went, "I'll do it."
Do you know what? It's kind of big, lad. So, like, basically, the guy that I was scouting for, he wanted to sign one of the bands that I found, and he didn't have money to sign to get me as a scout, like to turn it into an actual job.
Mhm.
So he said, "But you know what? I know that you're good. Um, so why don't you manage this band that doesn't have a manager that I want to sign? Join a management company so you've got that infrastructure and you can learn." So I did. So like literally, I signed. Like I managed this band. After 4 shows, I got them like a six-figure publishing deal. So then I was like, oh, I guess I'm a manager now.
Yeah. Going from that band, because you'd mentioned like working with a number one artist, that was KDA.
It was my flatmate who'd never released a single before,
That's great.
and was an elbow for the campaign. And I remember that's the most intense thing ever. Like we had this choice of when the single came out, it was like, do we release it against One Direction who've now decided to release, or against Adele Hello, and we're like, let's pick One Direction because it was like the fourth or fifth record from this album, so it's probably going to be weaker than a Return and Adele.
Yeah.
And we were 10 that week, and then we were suddenly number one, then we were number three, then we were not. And this is like someone who I say it's been in music, he was DJ, but he never released music. And like no matter where you went in the house, it was like, are we number one? What can we do? Like, how can we change this? Like, and it was so intense. But like some days really happy, some days where we were getting pissy with each other.
Yeah.
It's like, and then I remember when it actually was number one, we ended up going to Ronnie Scott's, and he got his person who was assisting him in like some live stuff, like a PA kind of person. I was so knackered that week that like got the PA to come put me in a cab and like take me to Ronnie Scott's, and I just was like, I can't actually enjoy it because I'm just so done in. And it was weird because I moved to London as a music manager when I signed that band, thinking like, oh, one day I'm gonna manage something to number one.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, yeah, sure you are. Like, and I was like, nah, man. Like, it's weird because I have crises of confidence, but I'm also like, maybe I'm a genius. Like, there's like oscillation between both things. And but I was just like, why not me?
Yeah.
Why not me? Like, I'm gonna like I've met people who've done it, and it sounds bad, but like I met some stupid people who manage people the number one,
Yeah.
like who are inept. I'm like, if I really want to do this, and I'm ready to work, and it's work, and like you said, we probably work harder because of that not being from the bubble. You have to really like it's like being a woman or being, as you say, or like being gay, which I am.
Yeah.
So I should know that one. Or like being black or brown, or just some just whatever it is that gets you like being working class, like things that just knock you out of the normal bubble. You do have to work twice as hard just to show that you can do it. And then once you reach a certain level, like I don't feel the need to like to do it as much now. I definitely did for like a lot of years. This is a relatively new thing of losing the imposter syndrome a little bit
Yeah.
and stepping into like my own light and stuff. But yeah, so like I thought the world was gonna change and it didn't. It was like, all right, what's next? And you're like, kind of thought that like, I don't know, you're gonna get a fucking letter from the Queen and like and it was weird, like, even he wouldn't get because it was a commercial record,
Yeah.
and it's not that many places for commercial DJs to play other than, like, the fucking Tiger Tigers, unless it's, like, you become a Sigala or a Joel Corry and you
Yeah.
keep having hit after hit after hit.
Especially now. Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like, Maya, who not had a top 10 hit, but she'd been sampled by, like, Katy Perry and fucking Nicki Minaj and people like that by this time, was, like, making far more money from playing all around the world than the person who had a number one record, which was always actually, when I was at management companies, was something that other managers couldn't get their head around.
Mm.
Who's this girl? It's like, when you go like sometimes like an O2 Academy or even an arena, and you're like, who the fuck's that band? And they're like a big rock act,
Yeah.
and you've never heard of them, but 20,000 people in your city have heard of them. And it's like, that's the thing. It doesn't necessarily, being popular doesn't, with a song, doesn't necessarily always mean that it turns into ticket sales.
No.
But to have that cult and that fan base and community that really love you and want to come out for you, like that's what
Absolutely.
builds a community.
Yeah. It is all about building community, and I think I've said it before in a previous podcast. I saw an article recently that, and someone was saying that all you need to kind of make a living in the music industry is, I think it was between 50 and 100 like core fans, people who are interacting with you, buying merch, buying tickets, listening to your music. Like that's all you kind of really need at the heart of it.
It's totally that. Like there's this new artist that I'm managing called Luna, whose album comes out tomorrow, so it will have come out like in general by the time this goes out. And she's this like really cool artist. Like it has this concept for this album of like it being called fairy pop. and it's like the album's already sold out on vinyl and CDs, like the minute it was announced. And it's like, okay, so the thing's profitable now already. Yeah, and it's just that cultish thing. But because of her appearance, and also she works, so she's like always making TikTok content, always messaging the fans on Discord, always like they're privy to a lot of it. It is a lot of work though.
Yeah. What do you feel as though are like the misconceptions for management and working with artists behind the scenes?
Oh fuck that it's easy. And then people don't realize that you get like 20% or whatever of like what an artist makes, but they need to like make a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
Like for me to get 20 grand, the artist in profit after expenses, after the agent's been paid, after flights have been taken into consideration, all these things, they have to make 100 grand of clear profit just for me to make 20 grand.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, if you want to get 100 grand salary in music, your artists in net profit need to be making £1 million. And then I've got assistants to
Yeah.
play or like label managers and like my business partner, it's 50-50 split. So for us to have big salaries from that, it needs to be therefore like double that plus or for our expenses, like even like paying the accountant every month, like
Yeah.
all these different things like fucking Dropbox, all these like things that you don't realize. So it's like there's this idea of like managers being like greedy, like the 1980s, and it's not. It's definitely not that now. So like, especially when it's like it's 4 grand for like worth of money generated for like 1 million streams,
Mhm.
like, or and you're earning 20% of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like that's why the live's really important and like merch and these different things. Or also, I am the employee of the artist,
Yeah.
like which I think a lot of people also get misconstrued, and sometimes managers do as well. They can be like absolute like some are lovely, some are arseholes, and it's like they hear like they're the managers, so therefore in people's heads it's like there's some level of like seniority because oh if someone's your manager they're in charge of people.
Yeah.
So I just think of myself more as like it's like a project manager.
Yeah.
So everybody feeds into me, and or like myself and Sophia, and like we deal with some artists have got a lawyer in like the really big ones have got like artist lawyer in North America and one in ex North America because like the America is like its own fucking legal world, and like I feel pretty confident in I can now like after like almost 30 years of working in music like draft a fucking agreement myself in like legalese. Back in America, I get way more scared. Maybe it's because of like watching big like courtroom dramas or knowing that like everyone sees each other.
Yeah.
So I get music lawyers more for that. But there can be a publicist for North America and one for UK and one for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
There's like not so much TV pluggers now that used to be more of a thing, but there's like not many opportunities for TV. But there's like ones that like pluggers that will push like to work to like get your music on Spotify and Apple playlists and stuff. There's ones that work for radio in different territories. There's like so sometimes for like the big we used to do big Maya campaigns when an album came out. She'd have made everything herself, which is Canvas and contained, and we make all the music videos together, like Sophia and I, and like and Maya, and we we work with certain creators. The creative thing was quite contained, but then it was like sometimes you get an email thread of like 40, 50 people on.
Yeah.
As the manager, you have to like
Navigate.
yeah, and some people don't. Some people are really passive in it, and you're like, they're like, "Oh, how did you got that big billboard in like Times Square?" Like, "Oh, we asked."
Yeah. Does that
Like,
question? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, there's just a lot of that of just like we asked, we pushed, we like if you don't get something straight away, then you go back and ask for it again when you've got more details or go like or Apple supporting us. Okay, then tell Spotify that Apple supporting
Yeah.
because it doesn't want to look like it doesn't know what it's doing compared to the other one. Then you go to D, say, by the way, Apple and Spotify supporting us. So what you do? They keep having all these different things, and then it's like, oh, okay, so now everyone's supporting it. Apple, I know you supported us here, and it was amazing. Is there anything we can do now? Because look, the record's breaking, and you just keep going back and back and back with people. Then you telling the agent this, by the way, when you're going out to promoters, can you tell them that XYZ is happening? So it's just, and then you've got different gigs, and then you can go back to Spotify and be like, oh, by the way, we're just booked on this tour, or we're playing in South America now. Can we get on some South American playlists in Spotify? And because Sophia and I, and Ashraf, who's our label manager, and even Dom, who's our assistant now to a degree, go out a lot globally with artists. You meet them in green, like people in green rooms who are like, oh, I'm the head of fucking Apple Electronic, or I'm the
Yeah.
head of this. So it's just like, again, not bombarding people with stuff and just being nice and actually genuinely being interested in people. Like, I'll be like, oh, how's the kids? How's the what? Oh, how's that? Like, I like, like quite naturally with a lot of people, like getting little in jokes.
Hmm.
Like the Stefan at Time Warp, we always do this thing where we pretend that we've lost our voices because we once met after a time warp and we both like lost our voices. So we just do this, and people when this is like, what are you guys doing? But it's just our little thing. But it's just a nice little thing of like,
It's personable.
you've just remember, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's not just transactional the whole time. So like, and then we'll go and that person at Spotify, whatever. Do you need tickets to something? Oh, do you need this connected to this person in music? Yeah, cool. Because I also hate that if like gatekeeping for contact.
Yeah.
Like, like it's a not a piss take if someone goes, oh, can I give you? Can you tell me like all these 10 people? Or I'm an artist and I'm not managed by you. Can you go and like literally someone asked me to make them an album campaign the other day, and I was like, how the fuck do you think I earn my money? Like, no, like you pay me to do that. Like
Yeah.
it's not, it's just weird. Or like someone asked us to get guests for our show in Paris at the weekend and didn't even, like, because we're like, hi Sandra, I see you're performing in Paris with Peaches. Can I get a guest list? And I was like, you haven't even bothered to follow me.
Yeah. I
And
hate
then,
that. Yeah.
but then she replied and went, oh, I don't follow people I don't know. And I was like, but you don't fucking mind asking them for guest lists?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Wild, wild. Just fucking add me, then delete me afterwards or something. Like, you're not even fucking. Just the entitlement is wild. But like, yeah, with these big teams, it's a lot of going to that and going to I like especially when I first started, going to conferences, going to music events, and having to have the brass balls to like chat to people that you don't know. Or but like when say if you go to IMS or ADE or something, if you go as a delegate, and I know it can be expensive at first, I do get that, but like it is worth investing in it to then go and it gives you a delegates list. Then go and be intentional and look up, and it is work. Like to network, it is work that you have to do.
Yeah.
Go, okay, that person is that person someone I'd like to meet. If it is, let's reach out to them. Okay, I've got their name. Let's go and add them on Instagram and send them a message that isn't like just nice. Like this is when you approach people if you don't know them, I always am like, just say something that like shows that you've researched them a little bit. So be like, oh, like for me, like be like, oh, Stephen, I love what you've done with HE.SHE.THEY, and that you're obviously those values are important to you. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Or someone goes like everyone's ego as well. Like, oh, I love that mix. I so went and saw you at the show. Okay. Like I even said to like people like, you are allowed to make little white lies. Like if you haven't seen someone, just be like, oh, I saw you and you're like go on RA. I saw you at this show. Or like I heard this mix and like it inspired me to write this tune.
Yeah.
If you're an artist and you're hearing, oh, my mix inspired someone to make a tune, like do you know what? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna fucking and not that this always works because people are time poor or they might be running between an airport or whatever. But like it just increases your chance of someone clicking on something because they're just like, I want to hear that. And then if someone hasn't replied to you instantly, just give it a couple of weeks or a week or something. Not like the same fucking day. Some person
Yeah.
going, oh, do you listen to this yet? Wild. Like you're going to be a bell end to work with, so I'm not going to work with you. But just like in a week later, or if it's really time urgent, like say 3 days, whatever, and just be
Yeah.
like, oh, by the way, no, you're really busy. Have you had a chance to listen to this yet? Not this a big hard sell. If something really new and exciting's happened, like, oh, I've just been booked to go on fucking tour with Patrick Topman, or I've just been booked for Coachella or whatever. If there's something like really new, that's also really good to be like, just letting you know this has happened. Just wondering if you've listened yet, because that's also like a bit sexy. Like, okay,
Yeah.
Coachella is, or someone else big is taking an interest in this. It must be a thing to check out. But just, it's really mad how entitled people are and how much of a red flag that is, and how much being humble and nice is a green flag for a lot of people. Of just like, they're really sweet. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll give you my time, because as well, people don't always realize, but like, I have days, not every day, because I've rearranged my life to be a bit easy for me.
Mhm.
But especially at the height of it, I'd easily get like 400, 500 emails a day. If I was like having big album campaigns going and you've got 40 people feeding into something, and I had various artists, and I've got the club night, like right now, I do pro wrestling, hence the cup. Just did my first ever stand up gig. I do international business development for Dice. I'm run HE.SHE.THEY, which is in 29 countries with like Sophia, and we have our management company and a record label. I do more of the live stuff. She does more of the record label stuff, but we also meet on a lot of things as well. So it's like, yeah, do you know what? I missed your thing.
Yeah. And
Like,
and that's
I
fine.
missed my best friend's birthday. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I missed your email. So don't be like arsy
Pissy
about it.
about it. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, just like just because honestly, that thing about being nice is so, I can't overstate it.
People wanna work with
Sorry.
good people.
Yeah. Sorry, this is an interview and it's your podcast, so
No,
you
no, no,
should be
you're
allowed to
fine.
talk
But
once in a
again,
while.
and I love it. I wanna talk about HE.SHE.THEY because
Mhm.
mentioned the lovely Sophia a number of times, and it's such a big brand now. And I want to just very quickly tip on like what inspired the launch of HE.SHE.THEY. Did you see it being like a multi-dimensional platform crossing events, record label, and like fashion and stuff?
Yeah, so we were really fucked off with life the day that we started Issue there. And we'd sat on this bit of grass, and we were just both pissed off, and we're like, we need a challenge. Let's launch like an inclusive fashion thing and disrupt fashion.
Yeah.
Um, and that was what it was going to be originally. And we're like, oh, we can market it by throwing cool parties, and it'll be like a cool thing that we can get some of our new acts to play on them. Then we went to ADE, and then we were just telling people like, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to have cool parties, just to kind of just test if there seemed to be an appetite for it. And Martin from Amnesia offered us a run of 16 shows in Ibiza the same day. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And Sophie was, we're not. Stop being an asshole. Like, we haven't even done let's do the first ones yet. Just funny, when we eventually had the Amnesia residency, it was like, it was right from the start, and he was always a big supporter. Um, and yeah, we just were like, oh, we should start. And like, so the first party we ever did was on the like in London Fashion Week, and it was a ministry, because we were like, let's try and diversify the like lesser diverse spaces. Um, so ministry was like a prime one, where the box is such a great room,
Yeah.
um, but it's not diverse, and we're like, let's just show people that like you can how you can use like diversity and good music as like a agent for change. And at the time, Sam Sparrow was there, who's now like at the Night
Lightly.
League.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the mastermind behind some incredible campaigns for Universe and High. And so he was there. Dennis Menendez
Hmm.
was there, who had been my old flatmate. And it was just some really great people there, but who really wanted to do great things. So we had it with like Maya Jane Coles and Ellen Allien and stuff. And then it was just this mad success. And we'd used, because I had 4 rooms, which was attractive to us too, we could put different collectives from who we wanted to shine a light on in other rooms. It was just really fun. That was the thing as well. We wanted to show that like people sometimes go like diversity inclusion, and I just uh,
Yeah.
like it's just gonna be this like they think it's gonna be like a HR meeting, which is gonna tell you how to like not say the N word or not like punch gays or whatever. And you're like, no, like it's a really low bar diversity of just like putting different people who are talented that don't necessarily look the same together on a bill. It's not that deep. Like I use it as my like mantra thing now of like, have you ever gone on a night out and gone like, oh, the fucking music was banging, production was banging. It just wasn't racist enough though.
Yeah.
Or there just wasn't enough misogyny. I didn't see one gay get beaten up. It was just like it's fucking stupid. So it's like, no, it's never bad if something's like woke or whatever. It's just like, and also, I'm not saying it if you like, just be respectful of other people. Like saying like, don't be transphobic. We have all these house rules like no ageism, no homophobia, no racism. Da, da, da. And people are like, oh, these rules, and you're like, is it difficult? Is anything not asking you? I'm not saying like start a fucking trans charity tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just saying, just like, don't be like, oh, what, are you a man or a woman? Like, because you know, it's none of your fucking business.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, like it really isn't. And like people can't like not in general, but there's a minority of people who are just like they wouldn't like it if it was the other way around.
Hmm.
And that's why I was just thinking there's that quote from the Water Babies of like doing to others as you would have done unto you, like treat people how you want to be treated. And if you go by that rule,
Yeah.
and it's not very fucking difficult, like you will get far in life. And like I've never had a discussion with a trans person about sport and how they transitioned because they wanted to fucking do the 100 meters and beat a woman.
Yeah.
Like, like, and also like this, all the whole trans debate thing, which is mad that you're debating if people have equal rights or not. So it's just kind of weird. It's like some men hate the fact that like guys are effeminate. I think like, as I say, I don't experience a lot of homophobia. And I think it's because I'm not effeminate.
Hmm.
And I think that that is the thing that men seem to have umbrage about. It's not so much like gay. It's about like they don't like. Why would you want to be like a woman? Why would you want to be weak? On the like, then some feminists who are not like it's not your average feminist because actually most of my girl mates who are like feminists are very trans inclusive. There's again a minority of people that just like you are a man or you're this or you're that, and it's just like sorry, just to kind of clarify,
Yeah.
there's always this thing of like oh, you're trans woman, you're not really a woman. And it's like, just trans is just an adjective to describing their type of woman.
Hmm.
No one's saying that they're born with a womb and they can have a kid and that they're exactly the same as a cis woman. But I've met enough trans people now all around the world from all different cultures and like to know that even as when I'm Sandra, no one's ever gone to me like, "Are you trans?" I mean, also it's very messy drag, so I don't think anyone thinks I'm trying to be a woman.
Yeah.
But like, but there are women like they're not dudes like they're just not like they're and I can't think of anything worse than being just trapped in the wrong body. And I tried as a gay guy, and like I say gay as probably very loosely bisexual still.
Yeah.
But like if you said when I was like 16, here's a pill, you're gonna be straight, just I would have taken it. Now I wouldn't, but I would have back then.
Yeah.
And I know that like I was kind of like and I loved the girl like I was with a girl for 7 years that I really was in love with, and I was in love with her as a person. But like you can't suppress your nature. And like I was playing being straight, but I was queer inside.
Hmm.
And I think it must be the same thing of just like it just your body might be this thing that it says that you're a man or it says that you're a woman, but you're just intrinsically in your brain you're not, and it's just those things just don't
Connect.
marry up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I just think, fuck me, that would be horrendous. So I can be sympathetic to someone, and there's always this thing of like, oh, they're gonna like trans women are gonna like attack people in the toilet. No, they're not. They've never in doing our party in 30 countries around the world, festivals, like small shows, big shows, in like America, the fucking Nepal.
Yeah.
I've never had a trans person do something that assaults someone. or been a problem in a fucking toilet. I haven't even had a straight man be a problem to a woman in the toilet.
Yeah.
Because actually, if you're going to go attack a woman, they don't tend to go to spaces full of women
Yeah.
with cubicles to go do it. It's like, it's horrible to say, but it's probably on the dance floor or on the way home.
Yeah.
So it's just this like, it's just this really silly, odd way of trying to like go, but what if? But what if? And you're like, why are we just shitting on this group of people that are like just hard to buying it's just nice. Like, but if this is the thing, if someone was actually going to assault someone, trans or cis or whatever, then like fucking they should be arrested.
Yeah.
Like there are just laws against attacking someone anyway, and it's just like there's no one who's like trans who thinks you should get like a special pass out because you're trans that you can't follow the law.
Yeah.
So like it's just a bit weird, and like also this other thing, last point on the trans thing
Okay.
of like be saying someone cis isn't a slur. Like I'm a cis male because all it means is that my gender and my sex marry up.
Hmm.
Like I'm a boy, and my brain says that I'm a boy, and my expression is a boy, and it's just that. It's just that. It's like, but people go, "Oh, it's a slur to this." It's like, no, it's like in the same way as like I'm a white man,
Yeah.
I'm a I'm a fat man, which maybe slightly more abusive, but like I'm a goth, I'm a it's like it's not offensive. Like it's just an adjective to describe what type of thing that person is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not that deep. Sorry, I just went off on a
No, I mean,
bit of a tangent, but it's just important
it's an
for
important
me to
conversation.
clarify some of these things.
Yeah, of course, it's an important conversation to have, and like I think a big part of it is people can't be narrow-minded to these sorts of things, and like I'm learning, and I think people just kind of need to ask questions and learn from it as well.
And that's the thing, it's all right to make mistake, like, just to say the wrong fucking thing and just learn. People do get intention,
Yeah.
and, like, this other thing, "Oh, you can't say this, you can't say that." Like, really, what can't you say? Like, other than maybe the N word, what can't you say? Like, or you're annoyed that you can't go up to a gay person and call them a faggot. Like what do you want? Like, why like, if like, you can say it, but you don't be annoyed if I fucking punch you. Like, it doesn't mean you can't have a consequence. Like, if I just called someone a fat cunt,
Yeah.
who I didn't know, they'd be offended, and rightly so.
Rightly
Like,
so, yeah.
it's just this weird it's just yeah, I just find it weird. I think if you just treat people as people,
Yeah.
because like there's this weird thing of like me being like gay, right, or queer, better term.
Mhm.
Like I'm drinking water because it's hot, not because I'm queer.
Yeah.
Now, if I go for a piss, it's not because I'm queer. If I do like my entirety isn't just based on the thing that makes me not normal.
Yeah.
Like the thing that deviates me most away from essentially being like a straight rich white guy. It's always like that's supposed to be your personality. So like if you're working class, if you're not from London, if you're black, if you're brown, whatever, like people treat you like, oh, okay, so that should be your whole culture. And it's obviously it's part like we're so many different things, and all these different things are like a kind of jigsaw that make us up. But I don't need to be reduced down to like one thing. Like, if anything, I think of myself as like a goth and a Geordie first,
Mhm.
and then like some of these other things second, like secondary. Because like I have as many, if probably actually more straight friends than gay friends.
Yeah.
So I've never been that thing of like, oh, like like I don't know if you have it where someone's gone like, oh, he's a friend for you. They're from like Belfast.
Yeah.
You're like, right? Or like,
What?
I have it all the time. Oh, this person's queer, and it's like, other than like, do you like it up the arse? Like, what else are we supposed to have like in common, like
Oh, yeah.
intrinsically?
Yeah.
Like, I love pro wrestling and music and comedy and things like that and food. Like, good if we've got those in common. Like, it's way more if someone was like, he is someone who loves pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're probably gonna crack on and like each other. Do you know what I mean? I just find it really odd. Do you not have the same thing as like the Irish thing of like,
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
oh, they're whenever you go to the States, like everyone's Irish or they've got some sort of Irish descendant or something, or they're like, oh, do you know the O'Malley's from? It's like, no, we all don't know each other.
but you know what? In Newcastle, you end up, or in Sunderland and like the Northeast, there's so many times where you go, oh, actually, like 1 degree of separation.
Yeah,
I actually do know that person, which is jokes. But yeah, like it is mad that thing of like, oh, you're British. Do you know the Queen?
yeah. I was actually a friend of mine who lives in Australia. He has family from Ireland, and he was over. I think at the end of last year with like his family and stuff, and they were driving around on the coast of Ireland and didn't know where they were going, so stopped off and asked someone, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that person like lives down there." They knew who they were talking about, and he was like, "Oh, do you know them?" Turns out that that person was like a second cousin or something, and I was like, "That's insane."
That is brilliant. I
But
know that.
yeah, on He She They, like
Mm.
the at the heart of He She They, it's like equality, diversity, community. Has
Mm.
there been any like one moment that for you like encapsulates what He She They is, whether that's been like a release on the label or a moment at like an event or whatever?
On a personal one, I love doing it in Newcastle where because I'd been like straight there because I'd been so scared that all my friends and family were gonna like not speak to me anymore because ultimately like I grew up in the 80s where it was like you're gonna get AIDS and die if you're gay and you're gonna like no one's gonna accept you. So that was why it's like, oh fuck. But like to go and do it is like be there with a partner and like some of my friends were doing drag for the first time in front of their families and it was just like the thing that I really loved was we had like quite a few trans dancers and stuff, and that like the internet makes you think that everyone hates everyone, and they don't in real life. If you actually get people to meet and they just meet on a just normal human level, like, oh, cool, like, oh, I had this misconception of that you were going to be this or that, or whatever. I think the trans people realizing that these like fucking blokey, Geordie straight lads
Yeah.
didn't actually have a problem with them and vice versa, and just like you see them having a dance. We did a show as well in Cardiff, where like the lads were like clapping where these trans people were coming in and like some just queer peeps as well were just coming and doing like voguing and stuff, and they loved it, and they were like wanting to dance because also they'd been allowed to like not have to be like, "Ooh,"
Hmm.
they were allowed to be just themselves without being like having to have their kind of backup
Yeah.
or like didn't have to be mature. So like it was a nice release for them. And I was like, this is exactly what I want. Cause for me, I don't want like loads of people just call Ishi their queer night and it pisses me off because it's not, it's an inclusive night.
Hmm.
And it's just as much for like open minded, like working class straight white guys as it is like black trans women because to me like there's no reason they can't be friends. Like my best mate is half Iranian, his dad's Muslim, like he's straight. We've been through everything you could ever imagine together in like 25 years of being best mates, and he would take a bullet for me. Like we talk about relationships, things like that, just but like it's normal. He's just like, oh, does it get bored? I don't feel apologetic about it. And like we're just going out with people, and we like each other because of like dark humor and each other's families and all these things. And I'm like, you would never think on paper that we would be friends, let alone best mates. So I want to create those spaces that, yeah, sure, if you're like a black trans woman, maybe you want to be somewhere where you're not the exotic one, or
Hmm.
you're just like you're not having to worry about like racism or misogyny or transphobia or something. Or if you're, say, a black trans woman, you're getting all three of those together. Like three chances to have your night ruined by someone being a cock.
Yeah.
Like, but also you just like our friendship group's really diverse. You just want to go. You want to be able to both go to that safe space, but also be able to go to Fabric on a night out and just feel that you like there's no space that's off limits to you. And we've done like parties now in about 40 of like DJ Mag's like top 100 nightclubs or whatever, and like had everyone from Honey Dijon to Sarah Landry playing. Like we had this a show once where Honey Dijon was playing in My Jane Cole's, and we were like, "Oh, we're going to say that it's queer friendly because we want people to know that it's not just queer, but it's like, but you can come."
Mhm.
And people were like, "Oh, it's going to put people off," and we're like, "You've got a black trans woman headlining with a with like a half British Japanese queer woman playing, and you're like, they're going to get put off by queerness." Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so we have to sometimes fight for these things, but then I think there's been a lot of clubs and festivals around the world that want to help and want to do stuff. They just don't know how. And we've come and filled that gap and gone like, okay, just give us the reins and we'll do it and we'll help. So it's not necessarily like always that club bookers and that are deliberately trying to hold down people. It can sometimes be laziness. It can sometimes be like they don't know what to do rather than that come from malice.
Mhm.
And I always try to meet people from a point of view that most people are good. And don't get me wrong, we can all be bad. Like I can be an absolute bellend sometimes, but like in general, people want to do right by people. You just need to be handheld a little bit. So yeah, like I think that's been really important. Or like doing the stuff at Coachella and things like that, and being like, you've done Coachella and Glastonbury, and like getting that message onto those festivals. Or in Chile, we've got 10,000 capacity stage we do each year at Creamfields, and like that's mad to be a kid from Sunderland with like a 10,000 capacity stage at a rave somewhere in South America, and that blows my mind. And we just did we're in Dazed for doing the biggest ever inclusive party in Nepal,
Mhm.
like in Kathmandu, and like as a Pride afters. And the British Embassy got on the phone with us and thanked us for doing it. And we were like, this is insane. Like
Yeah.
this is insane. And how much like doing a fucking night about inclusivity in New York or East London, it's like, oh well done. Like
Yeah.
like, it's not you're not really moving the dial because everyone gets the memo. I think when you do it in those other spaces, like in Kathmandu or Newcastle or Chile or whatever, like, you're actually really creating a space for people who have been marginalized to have space. And then actually as well, they start going to those club nights and they start running their own nights and things. And like that's one of the things like so when we did Singapore and Nepal, we partnered with like some of the smaller nights
Mhm.
to give them a bigger platform. Because what I don't want to do is like, oh, HE.SHE.THEY is the only inclusive party you're allowed to book. Because that's so fucked.
Yeah.
And like some parties try and do that. Like the most majority of parties in this space are nice, but some parties try and do it where they're like, oh no, this is just for us. And it's like, that's not the point. The
Yeah.
point is almost like my ideal in Sophia's is that like HE.SHE.THEY is like oh you run an inclusive party, who cares? Like it's just about the music because you've got to that point,
Yeah.
and we're not there yet, but like it's definitely getting better. Maybe tilted a bit in America because of Trump and stuff,
Mm.
but like in general, it's better than it was, and it's like everything will always swing pendulum wise. But you're seeing more women being bookers, more women and queer people and black and brown people being bookers, and it's starting to change stuff.
Mhm.
But it's always talent first with us. But I do like that we've had Ewan McVicker and Fiac and Ben Clark and Eats and like a whole bunch of straight white dudes who've played for our party, who get our party and love those communities and actually don't want to just play to people who look like themselves.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just want to play music to music lovers in like non-toxic spaces. It's
Yeah.
nice. Like, I do think the world is a good place generally.
Yeah, you should be really proud of what you're doing and what you have done, and like you'd said, a kid from Sunderland going to the other side of the world and throwing
Mm.
inclusive parties is it's crazy.
Isn't it mad though that it's thought of as this kind like it's I love awards. I do. I'm not gonna lie, I love them. But I also at the same time is accepting this award of like, here's an award for realizing that everyone's equal and you
Yeah,
should just book on talent and not on demographics. Is fucking stupid in some ways.
yeah,
Like like it shouldn't be that like oh like the your that it's even seen as like some kind of revolutionary concept because it should just be the obvious. Like
the normal.
and yeah, like and we if you look at our lineups, it is full of different types of people, and we sometimes have events where there's more straight white dudes than other groups on. It's not like because we're not literally going like countdown. I'll have a black one, a brown one, a white one, and three from anywhere else.
Yeah,
Like if you look at our parties overall, like if you looked at 20 parties, it'd be mad, madly diverse. And that's the point. It's not just doing it by numbers. But if you just blind listen to 100 mixes, I bet it wouldn't just be that like the first 50 were all men and the other 50 were women, you know? Like so obviously you do have to sell tickets. So there's a jigsaw of like you have to have a big name in to then you can go and play with some of the other parts. But like, so I'm not like pretending that like you can just book some DJ that's got 100 fans on Instagram to headline your event. But you do have to put them on at some point to start and then grow them. And then, so I we started the record label as well. Of like, we realized when we were doing the events, you couldn't just put someone in an event. They needed a release as well,
mhm,
and then go and do more events. And like, we liked it. We've had like people who've then got off to be residents of something else, and they still come back to play for us. But like the thing was really in earnest about giving a launch pad to people. I didn't actually like. So why we're not a fashion label? Sorry, segues. We're not a fashion label it's because fucking COVID happened and all our clothing got locked into like it was in a furloughed factory. So you couldn't get our things for 18 months. And the parties had been really successful and we had orders in, but then oh sorry, we can't fulfill your orders, so
yeah.
you kind of lost them. And it took because we'd insisted on getting everything hand finished and stuff in Britain, because we thought that was like authentic. We just we didn't have clothes. We were like, oh, I guess we're a party now. That at some point we'll do clothing.
You mentioned there that you love awards, and earlier in the podcast, you showed
I do the
Sandra's stuff.
Sandra Cup.
So I've got Sandra here, an alter ego, Sandra Spitz. Sandra is a Blackpool landlady whose magician husband left her for his new assistant, Abracadabra.
Abracadabra. And she has a parasitic twin called Dawn that communes with the dead. So like various celebrities can come through.
Yeah.
So I did my first ever stand up at the Comedy Store um, this week, which was amazing. So yeah, that was brilliant and nerve wracking. But I'm also at the same time I'm writing a sitcom.
Mhm.
I'm writing a sitcom with this woman who used to be an old BBC commissioner. I've got a drama pilot and a horror film and a kids book that I've been squirreling away at times for. And now, like I keep having things in life that I want to tick off,
Yeah.
like a bucket list stuff. So I was like, okay, if I want to be considered to write a sitcom, I want to be a comedian and not just a music manager who thinks he's funny or whatever.
Hmm.
So I've been doing that, and then it's also the wrestling character, but it's also like Sandra's like hosting this Paris Fashion Week party with Peaches and Luna at the weekend. So like it's mad, and like so the people who follow Sandra now are like Lana Del Rey follows her, and Becky Hill, Peaches, Fire from Gladiators, then like a whole bunch of comedians like Michelle DeSwart
Yeah.
and James Barr, and then there's like the loads of UK wrestlers follow her. There's a couple of WWE champions that are in their follow at the moment. So it's this random hodgepodge of music, comedy, fashion, and wrestling.
Diverse fan base.
Yeah, it makes the fucking head booker of the night league follow Sandra. It's such a weird thing. And then I ran for the Green Party for
Yeah.
council because my boyfriend Bradley Skeng DJ'd for Zach Polanski and the Green Party thing. I met Zach and I was like, oh, HE.SHE.THEY. And I always wanted to get into politics. He's like, look, do you want to run as a paper candidate? So it's like they have target wards and then they have paper candidates where you're there to you don't get as much resources to win a council seat. But I was like, yeah, I'll be on the ballot. But on the night time of the elections, I was being part of Hustle Wrestling, which is having a party. It's taken over like Heaven nightclub. We're doing the first ever wrestling event there. But like the guy used to be a head writer for WWE. So the shows for Hustle are amazing. And I'm like an on air kind of talent for them
Yeah.
as Sandra. Um, and people always try and snatch my wig. That's kind of like my thing. But because I was running for council and then on the nighttime being a drag queen who wrestles, I was like part I don't wrestle anymore, but it's like I'm just if anyone knows pro wrestling, there's lots of different types of talent like on events. So I'm like Dan Housen if someone watches WWE now. The Daily Star picked up on it. Yahoo picked up on it. I paid the Daily Attitude, all these things. I was in page 7 of the Daily Star, like 3/4 of a page. Sandra Spitz is going to drag down Keir Starmer as like me running for the Greens. So like, there's also like a whole bunch of like politics people follow Sandra.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. But I also love that about the world because it makes no sense. But actually, if you know me, it makes
Perfect sense.
all of the
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But so I've just realized with that character as well, this this is Shakespearean thing, and it sounds really grand because when people see Sandra, and it's like, oh, you're talking about comparing her to like a Shakespearean jester, and she's like a landlady from Blackpool that took 5 minutes to put the makeup on. But it's just like when you're like funny, you can like this is the point of the jester.
Mhm.
She could always speak to the king in a really honest way because it wasn't like you are wrong, sir. It was like to do like a little ditty or something to make a person laugh and reflect. And I think that's how like when I did my keynote speech at IMS or something, or like I talk a lot around the world because obviously I like talking.
Yeah.
Um, I use humor and like I think it's I think it's really important to like if you just talk about diversity inclusion and loads of different things, not just that, but politics in general, and always like about the heaviness of it, you lose a lot of people
Yeah.
or people switch off or they feel like, oh, I'm gonna be cancelled or vulnerable and they stop listening and the defenses are up. Whereas I like being Sandra where like I talk about a whole bunch of taboos when I do the comedy act. Like like my mum had cancer, right? And she's like, I hate that when anyone talks about cancer again, all the oxygen leaves the room.
Mhm.
Like, Stephen, if you're gonna do like I was like, because I was like, how can I do comedy and not punch down on people? Like, do something about cancer. Like, make that funny. And I was like, oh, make cancer funny. All right. So my character Sandra is slim and sexy thanks to cancer, even though like I'm actually massive on stage because I'm 17 stone. Um, but like she's written a celebrity weight loss book called Like It or Lump It.
Yeah.
And like just this dark stuff. And it's like, but it's amazing how many people afterwards came up to me at that comedy show gig, store gig, and were like, "Oh, I've got cancer. I've had cancer. I've had someone who's had cancer."
Yeah.
And it was really nice to be able to laugh at it because it's horrendous. Everyone knows it's horrendous. Like I've lost like family members to cancer. I'm not belittling the fact that cancer is fucking awful. We're now having a conversation about cancer because we've talked about it, and it's like they're just talking to it as a person and their experience,
Yeah.
and not like, oh, like my mum when she had cancer wasn't defined by cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was still very much the very smart, slightly batshit
Every
like
3.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, like who's at the same time as like saving the National Glass Centre and doing all this like activism stuff. And she was like, I want to be like, and she beat cancer. Like, thank God.
Mhm.
But like, she's like, I don't want that to be like my epitaph. It's like that, and like it's really obnoxious. And I did. I did I went and did my routine to loads of my mates who'd had cancer,
Yeah.
which is like, and it might sound really weird. I was like, by the way, kids, I've written some cancer jokes. You've had cancer. I haven't. I've just been around it. As long as you're not offended by this, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if I hate someone being offended on my behalf.
Uh-huh.
Like my humor is dark. Like, and I think that like I just think that's a very northeast, and I imagine actually a very Belfast way of
Yeah.
coping with stuff.
Yeah.
If you like when there was mass unemployment and all that in like the northeast, you learn to have to cope and laugh about stuff, and like and not that the troubles is funny, but there was so much darkness to that that you have to create light
Light in
somewhere
it.
as a valve. So like, yeah, that's kind of why I'm like, oh, it's that thing of like with he she they as well. I like as well as sort of saying some very serious things. I think it's just important for us to like not be cancel culture. Like if somebody gets the wrong pronoun or someone says the wrong thing, like if like intentionally if someone's coming after you
Mhm.
and if someone's just not that clued up, but means well.
Yeah.
Like Jane McDonald did this thing at Mike Hoopla, where she goes, "Thank you, ladies and gentlemen," and then obviously clocked the fact that she was performing in front of loads of non-binary and trans people. She said,
Yeah.
"Oh, like women and men and men, or like people who don't quite know what they are yet, or
Yeah.
whatever." Like, and it was so messy. But you know that she's on stage in Mighty Hoopla. There's no reason, like there's no way that she's fucking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
phobic towards
She
that
means
community,
well, yeah.
and like love that she was doing the icon spot. But she's also like what 60-year-old woman from
Yeah.
like fucking the north, and just doesn't always have the right words. But like for me, I think it's really important that the left doesn't always fight itself, and like when you have a whole bunch of people united by hate and you have a whole bunch of other people that like, oh, I know that you aren't transphobic, but I'm gonna really try and try and cancel you because you said the wrong thing. It's such a bad message. Just like correct yourself.
Yeah.
Even like most trans people, as I say, like are actually quite robust. They just I like the fact that you're being kind.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna fucking kill you because you said something slightly wrong. Where it's like it's a bit like when like people be like, oh, the Muslims hate the fact that like the Christmas tree's going up. I've never met a Muslim in my life who doesn't want people to celebrate Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah.
They just want to be able to celebrate their faiths too.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have slightly well-meaning people going like, "Oh, we need to be secular because like, oh, like their way of propping up Muslims is to diminish Christmas," and then all that does is get people going, "Oh, you can't celebrate Christmas because of Muslims," even though this Muslim person, I'm fine with you celebrating Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. We need to just be careful in trying to be well-meaning. We just let everyone. This is why we're saying like, let's celebrate everyone.
Mhm.
Let's bring everyone together and celebrate someone's transness, but also celebrate the fact that you're comfortable in your own body and you were born in your own body. Like the same congruent with your mind. That you can be gay, that you can be straight. That everyone and every experience is equally fucking valid, and just be nice. It's like maybe it's a good place to close it, like, but
Yeah.
it's just that.
Yeah.
It's just like just let everyone be nice and just try and be fucking nice to people, man.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah. Life
Don't
motto.
be a dick.
Very
Yeah.
quickly, I've got a few quick fire questions for you.
God, I don't know if I'm capable of quick fire, but I know this is 1 hour 40. We did a RA one. And
Yeah.
it was 2 hours. I think it's still like the longest ever RA podcast ever.
You're like guests, like you're amazing because you ask a question. It's like, right, off you go.
Because like so I used to work as a music journalist. I interviewed like Richard Branson and fucking Amy Winehouse,
Yeah.
those people. And they were actually great. But like sometimes you'd interview people and you're like, yeah.
Yeah. It's
And was it do you
blood
like
and
this?
stone. Yeah.
No. Yeah, and you're like, fuck me. Like, have you not got an opinion on anything? Like just so yeah. Anyway,
Right.
quick
Fire
fire.
questions. Best advice you've ever received.
Trust your gut instincts and be nice.
Okay. Favorite meal?
Fried chicken.
Oh, yes. What's the most underrated skill to succeed in the music industry?
Probably being nice.
Who do you call when you need honest advice?
Oh God, I've got like friends for everything, like purpose. And do you know what? My boyfriend Bradley is very good at giving me an honest read on stuff. But I think all my best friends are very like not brutal, but like sorry, quick fire.
I think you've got many answers to this, but if you weren't working in the music industry, what would you be doing?
The thing that I most wanted to be when I was younger was a pro wrestler, and I'm too old to do that now, like properly. That was the number one aim before I hurt my shoulder. Um, but probably if I wasn't doing this, like script writer or comedian,
Okay.
I think they're like my thing.
Someone in the music industry who needs more recognition.
Again, oh God, like the boyfriend Bradley Skeng is coming up, but who that I'm not managing. Do you know, I live in such a little bubble of people that I really love, and I don't know why I've gone so blank. People like yourself, do you know what? In terms of like the amount of platform that you give people, and they're slightly unsung for it, like oh, that's their job. And I think that people don't realize how much you, Jaguar, Sarah Story, Pete, like a lot of people, Danny Howard, like a lot of people do. Just I said, like actually go. Oh, Jeremiah as well. Like go and help people
Yeah.
off record and like really try and like okay, this record isn't quite right yet, but encouraging people and like a lot of people only see what's on like the surface, which is where often or aerial free as well. Like you help. There's a lot of basically. There's a lot of things that you help people with that don't even make it to the show,
Yeah.
but eventually do. And actually, you support them for time, and you've listened to stuff, and you've given feedback. And I think it's really, really important. So yeah, like not just Radio One DJs, but like a whole bunch of people. But I think that there's people who give their time freely to people.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Three dream
That wasn't quick fire.
three dream dinner guests
3G for music or
in general.
um Victoria Wood, because I think she wrote Dinner Ladies, and like I was my sitcom is kind of owes a lot to how well she writes. So I never was one of the people I sat up with her on a tube, and she's one of the few people I always wanted to meet, but I never met. I'd love to have met. This sounds really like, but I'd love to have met Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Because I just like I think that was incredible the amount of bravery that he did and how he has it. Not that anyone is solely responsible for a movement. I do get that he was a figurehead for a lot of people's work, but him and I always wanted to meet Lily Savage like Paul O'Grady like then, and probably Yokozuna because he was my favorite wrestler, which is really right. That would be a random table of people.
Favorite TV show or movie?
Oh, Kate Bush as well. Sorry. Do you know what? I'm going to stop. Kate Bush. But I'd probably shit myself if I met Kate Bush. I would like freeze up. And this, if Kate Bush interviewed me,
Yeah.
it'd be a 1 minute podcast and me just spiritually combusting and go, I'm not as good as you.
I find that very hard to believe.
Yeah, probably. I would have that as the initial opening gambit, and then I'd just talk at Kate Bush for 2 hours.
Favorite TV show or movie?
I watch The Rescuers, right?
Right.
To fall asleep to as a 44-year-old adult male. I watch it to fall asleep to. And the boyfriend is just like, you're petrified of mice. Why the fuck do you listen to cartoon mice to fall asleep to? But and I can't even remember what happens in the end, probably.
Yeah.
Like because I always fall asleep in the first 15 minutes. And I don't know why I just conditioned myself to fall asleep to The Rescuers. Otherwise, Sister Act is my favorite film to watch. I love Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
And favorite TV series ever, either Princess or Bucket H, because I've watched all 700 episodes or whatever it is about 4 times. The Golden Girls of Murder, She Wrote, I also have on box sets, which is why I get served like old women adverts for like fucking like Caniston Combi.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've not got a vagina, but you think I have because of what I watch. Or I don't think I could write something as good as it, but I love The Line of Duty.
Yeah.
I was rewatching it again. Like there's certain things where I can just rewatch. And normally I'm working all the time. So I fit everything. I'm just constantly with the laptop, but I have stuff like that on in the background, and I do love UK Gladiators. I get really excited about it. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so that again, quick fire. There's 6 shows.
Right, finally,
Oh,
mate.
WWE. I watch WWE. I watch every wrestling program every week.
Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views, everything.
NXT, sometimes Impact, rarely AEW, but sometimes. But yeah, like NXT is my favorite when we see the development of wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Finally, to wrap things up, mate, and I always ask guests on the podcast the same question to finish off. If you were to go back whenever you first were getting into the music industry, that 16-year-old Brainzo in Sunderland, looking back now, what advice would you give?
Just to like, just to fucking, just to keep going and to ask people for stuff and to work hard. And then the only thing when I moved to London, the only thing I wish I hadn't done in my whole career was I was a bit too like, I'm just going to do this on my own terms and I'm just going to like manage artists that I want. And I should have played it slightly cleverer in having a job that supported myself and then doing bits like getting a job at a major label or getting a job at a management company. I just kind of like jumped jumped straight in. Contract people in artists. I didn't used to work with contracts before, and I got fucked over a few times because I was like, "Oh, I'm really artist friendly and cool." And like in general, people have always honoured it because like Depeche Mode signed to Mute Records, and that was always just a handshake
Mhm.
for like 20 years. So I always believed in like Maya never had a contract in 15 years, but that is probably smart. Always get a lawyer to check stuff, and even if someone seems nice just for your own sanity, if you're the artist, always get something checked. And again, I refuse to answer anything in quick fire. Um, I think the other thing that I had a lot of imposter syndrome when I started. So like at one point I was managing Magda, Maja and Cole's Taylor Bus, and I was banking
Mhm.
and was like, here are all the things I didn't have as a child that I now deserve.
Yeah.
So this pair of trainers, I need to wear Rick Owens because everyone's going to think that I don't belong. And it was just imposter syndrome. It wasn't based in a reality. But like, I at one point rented a house in London and a house in New York. It's like not massive overlap,
Yeah.
but like, I should have had someone like Airbnb in the fucking London house or whatever. And like, I don't earn the money that I did now because I decided at one point I was just going to manage things that I really liked and just do every. So I earn less, but I'm happier.
Yeah.
But like, I wish I'd banked and I wish I'd gone and bought a house when I could have and had a deposit. And then I got sensible with money. And then when COVID happened, because if you have an international business of touring and HE.SHE.THEY, we'd focus on HE.SHE.THEY. I had no money from that. We didn't get furlough, so we had to pay staff and we lost a bunch of people who owed us money went bankrupt. So I lost about 100 grand in COVID
Wow.
and didn't earn money to like replenish it really, which is both when I took up script writing stuff. So it wasn't all bad, but I still don't own a house after the career that I've had
Yeah.
because I'm now again rebuilding to get a deposit on a house because I don't come from I come from a lovely family, but not a rich one.
Mhm.
So be a bit sensible with your money. Go and it's boring, but go and put money away for a pension because at one point you will become 44 and go, oh, I've had a great life.
Yeah.
But to be fair, if COVID hadn't happened, I would have been all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did originally get to a stage of just like, the money will last forever.
Yeah.
And you'll know yourself, you come in periods where you earn a lot,
Tough shit.
and then you go periods of like, the diary's looking a bit shit for
Yeah,
the next
yeah.
3 months. And
Yeah.
then it's fine again. But just that, be sensible. So there's 8 things that I would have done different.
Perfect. Let's leave it there, mate. It's been a pleasure. Like I said, this was 2 years in the making, so I'm so glad that we finally gotten around to doing it. And my cheeks are killing me from smiling and laughing this whole time.
I love that I've made your cheeks so kind of. That's definitely been a life aim of mine.